Hey, you guys, tap in, tap in. Happy Monday. I am Abalori and I am back for day 17 of the 30-day financial gratitude challenge. Thank you guys for joining me today. Please note that I am still a little under the weather as I have been battling a sinus infection. So please forgive me if I have to cough or clear my throat. I am coming in on the tail end of this, and hopefully by the end of this week, it will be out of here. But um, this was a bad one. I've been used to getting them since I was a child, but this one I haven't had one this bad in a very long time. So um yeah, so it's just taking me a little while to get over over it. But again, thank you for joining me for day 17 of the 30-day financial gratitude challenge, where we are just giving thanks to God in these 30 days for the season of budgeting, saving, investing, all those things. Now, I am a little behind because week before last, a week and a half ago, I had a family emergency, and then that's when I started getting sick. And so I am behind on the challenge, but I'm going to keep it going. And as I told the other audience on my page, some days I will probably bring you some pre recorded videos just to try to play catch up, because I want to keep my days coincided with the day of the challenge. So, like, technically, we should be on day, what, 25? We're on day 17. So we are behind. Um, so I'm going to try to play catch up this week to try to get us back together on the right number day of the gratitude challenge. And I know it doesn't really matter, but I kind of tried while I was wanting to try to really stick hard with coming live to you guys every day for the 30-day challenge. So I'm just going to say life throws you a curveball. What can you do but just maneuver and keep going with the flow? But today we are talking about being entrusted with little finances and being grateful so that we can know what it's like when we come into abundance, and what to do when the abundance happens, for us in the monetary financial realm of where we are in life. And so today we are coming from Luke 16:10, and it says, whoever can be trusted with very little can be also trusted with very much. And so when I looked up Enduring Word, I don't think that I had to dive deep, but what it says is, who he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. In these words, Jesus, money is considered to be the least things. Therefore, if a person cannot be faithful in managing the things that are least, they should not be entrusted to be faithful in handling the things that are much. And we all know that when it comes to our finances, one of the biggest things that we lack, that we don't think about, is how do we handle our finances when we don't have much? How do we feel about our finances when we don't have much? How do we still show a pure heart of gratitude when we don't have much? A lot of times when we are slammed with budgets, when we are paying off bills, when we're trying to decide how we're going to keep the lights on and keep food on the table and pick up an extra shift at work, but the kids need help with homework and you got another, something else is brewing in the background. The last thing we think about is giving thanks. All we think about is, I got more, problems than ends. My ends are not meeting, they're not ending, they're not coming together. So therefore, it's hard to me, excuse me, it's hard for me to give gratitude and thanks when I don't feel thankful and when I don't feel like I want to have a pure heart of gratitude when my finances are not right. Now, we do know that a lot of people have a tendency to be down, be depressed, don't want to be around other people. They just don't function well when their finances are not together. I used to be that person. I am, I wouldn't say that I'm still that person, but I still feel as though if my finances are not where they need to be, then I don't deserve to get a small coffee, or I don't deserve to buy a pair of socks. So I don't deserve, I just feel undeserving of spending anything on me if my finances are not where they should be. Now, I do know that that is not great thinking, that is almost an enslaved mentality thinking towards money and money principles and money habits. But I just feel like, how can I enjoy life if I need to pay these debts off? And so for me, I had to think about changing my mindset. So even in the midst of me still paying off debt, managing, the resources that I have, managing the money that I come in, whatever little is left over, I still thank God, because it's left over for me to build. It's left over for me to bless other people. It's left over for me to invest in God's kingdom. It's left over for me to do his will and his work. And so I am shifting my mind to realize, once I pay off all my bills, even if I have $50 left, let's just say, that's still $50, excuse me, that I can bless an organization with, or that is $10 that I can send to a local organization that could buy some food for a particular person. So even though I myself may not have the abundance, I am still faithful and thankful for the very little that I do have. And I know that if I am faithful, if I am showing gratitude, if I am purposefully learning that I was placed on this, that God, he's teaching me, but he's also blessing me at the same time. He is teaching me, do better with your money habits, be a better steward. Yes, you were a good steward previously, but I think I need you to be a better steward going forward. So there's lessons, there's principles, there's things that he is teaching me in my season of lack. And I am still appreciative, and I am still being thankful for, because I remember when I first started this journey, I really was counting like penny to penny, like literally penny to penny. And then I had to slowly realize that is not a realistic way to live. Even if a penny is all you have, still be thankful. You still have lights, you still have running water, you still are able to come home to a warm house because it's getting cold outside, you still have a comfortable bed to sleep in. Things may not be positioned where you want them to be. You may lack in certain things, but still be grateful. Because even if you're grateful with the little that you have, somewhere down the line, he is going to overflow. He is going to bless you with beyond measure that you're just not going to be able to have words. The only thing you are going to be able to do is say thank you. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck on words. And so I say this to say that it says, whoever is entrusted with very little will also be trusted with very much. And I think that is the key for us in our financial journey. Most of us are thinking about the lack part of it, maybe not having enough to stretch it out for the week or the month. But we also have to think about it, that this is a journey that we're striving to get through, and we're getting through it. It's at a slower pace. It's giving us grace and mercy. We're learning so much along the way. So there's benefits in us being in lack as well. There's benefits in us not rushing so quickly to get all this money and to pay off a bill. There's a learning season that we're all in this budgeting journey. And so it says, if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust to true riches? So in this sense, it says, who are good leaders amongst God people must be good managers of their own money. If a person can't be faithful before God with the money he gives, how can he be faithful with the care of his people? So, again, depending upon how you look at this scripture, it is basically telling you that you need to be faithful with what, excuse me, with whatever you have. If be faithful if you only have $5 in your pocket right now. Be faithful if you only have $2 in your pocket right now. Be faithful in what God has given you. Be thankful for those $2 that you have left over. That $2 may be able to buy you just something to nibble on until you get home for dinner. Be thankful. You're on a savings and a budgeting journey. So we shouldn't really be out here, overly spending. But however, be thankful that you was able to get that, $2 cup of coffee. So again, it may not be much right now, but he is setting us up for much blessings in the future. So it says, if you have not been faithful in what is another man's. Here, Jesus seems to refer to the fact that all of our riches belong to God, and we must see that we are managing his resources. Faithfulness in this will result in the blessings that is our own. So again, managing what God has entrusted us with. We are learning to do, some of us do good jobs, but we're learning to do better. Some of us have been good. We still have a lot more to learn, a lot more to do. So therefore, entrusting what God is giving us, even if he's given us just the right amount to pay off our bills and to pay off a few debts in the process. And maybe he's only leaving us $25 left over until the next pay. Be thankful. He is entrusting that whatever he's giving us, we're going to do the right thing. If he mistakenly gives us, and I don't even want to say mistakenly, but if something happens that we end up with another $400 or $500 extra, this is going to be a test from him to say, hey, are you still going to continue to do the right thing? Are you going to take this money and are you going to blow it? Or are you going to strategically invest it, save it, and then pay off something? What are you going to do with the money that I have just blessed you with, no matter how you got it? So again, you didn't have a lot to begin with. Something happened. You got a refund for something you overpaid. You ended up with the extra $400 or $500. God is now giving you a little bit more. He's giving you a little bit more, but he wants to test you and see what you're going to do with it. And so with that being said, excuse me, guys, I'm going to leave us with some final questions. Are you thankful for the small financial blessings in your life? Whether it's being able to pay off, a $20 debt to a $150 debt. If you're able to save just $2 this week and you were able to save $5 the week before, are you thankful for that? How can recognizing the small things change your perspective on the bigger things? Again, I believe that for me, it is focusing on, again, I think I mentioned to you guys in the previous last couple lives that I was blessed and fortunate enough that when I started paying back my bills, I was on a roll. And then I hit a halt. And the reason why I was on a roll the first couple weeks, first couple months is because those bills were a little bit smaller. They range from like $25 to like 200 and something. So they were small amounts of money. And I was able to knock out, 2 or 3 of them within a week. Then the next week I was able to pay 1 or 2 and then a 5. So I was knocking them out quickly. As I am now getting down to the tail end and how I do the snowball method. So I put my debts from least to greatest. And as I'm now getting to the greater aspect, I hit a halt, or I wouldn't say I halted. I had to slow down because now these are the bills where instead of paying them all at once, I now have to pay payments on them in increments until I can get them down to a small enough measure where I could just go ahead and pay it off. So for me, being thankful that I was able to knock out those first couple debts with no problem. That was the small debts. That's the thank you debts, because now I don't have to worry about them. Whatever I was putting to those debts, I can now put towards these bigger debts to bring those balances down towards though I will be able to pay those debts off. So I am looking at the bigger perspective of how now God is telling me, I got you through the quick stuff. I got you through the quick stuff. You didn't stumble. You did not fall. You did not falter. You did not waver. You was diligent. You did what I asked you to do. I brought you through that with no scars. Now we're getting into the thick of things. I need you to hang in there. This is where I'm going to test your will. I'm going to test your patience. I'm going to test your faith. And I am going to test you to see if you're going to trust me to bring you completely through the rest of this journey, because it's not going to be easy. So this is my bigger perspective on paying off debt, being as close to debt free as possible. That this is my bigger perspective. So again, the questions are you thankful for the small blessings in your life, the small financial blessings? How can you recognize the small financial things and change your perspective on the bigger things? So again, that's how that works. And then the last thing is take time to thank God for the things that you normally overlook. So some of those things could be like running water, health, picking up an extra job, being able to work an extra hour this week, just any small things that sometimes we tend to overlook throughout our day. Thank God for those financial blessings, no matter how big or how small they are. And with that being said, you guys, I am hopping off and I will talk to you guys later.